Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bi-weekly webinar. Today's webinar, we're going to be talking about data and how you can use that data to really get great insights and make sure you're asking the right questions to get those insights. So, as you note, I am Jess. I am the head of customer success here at Soter. I have been with Soter for almost 4 years now, and I'll be presenting this webinar. It should be a quick, punchy webinar. We like to keep them short and sweet. Today's webinar, we're going to be talking about safety data and how to ask the right questions. So, just to set the scene, the reason why we're doing this webinar is that we recognize that a lot of our partners have data that lives across multiple different silos, like spreadsheets or dashboards, and they're all separate. And today I really want to show you how you can use SoterAI to get the most out of that data. So as you know, the data lives in spreadsheets, reports that you have to write take days to build, and usually they're outdated by the time that you're finished. There, there are so many data points around, like incidents, hygiene, risk, and compliance data, and they just never talk to each other usually. And usually we're reporting on the past instead of preventing the future. So today I'm going to show you how with SoterAI you can spot these incident trends and hotspots in seconds. You can surface hygiene exceedances and control effectiveness. You can connect your risk register to these real world incidents that are actually happening in your business. And the best part about it is generate these board reports in seconds without even touching a spreadsheet. So what does analyzing data with AI actually mean? This is really the big question that we're going to be answering today, is how to get a live picture of how risk actually shows up in your operation. We're going to connect incidents, hygiene, the risk register, and compliance all in one layer. We're going to bridge the gap between raw data and decisions that prevent harm. And we're going to help teams act on real trends, not just what the report from last month said. So, with all further ado, I will share my screen on my dashboard. So to get started with this, I've got a scenario for you all. And this scenario is around a company that I'm going to call manufacturing. I know, very original. But manufacturing is my demonstration company today. And what I have done is I have set this workspace up specifically to show you this demonstration. So the first thing that I did was I've added in data sets. So these are the data sets that I'm going to be using today. So if you think about what you've got in your business, if you have access to any or all of these, the best place to do it is to add it to data sources to start off with. So in here, I've got a risk register, I've got incident data, hygiene monitoring data, as well as OSHA compliance data. So all of these data sets are to give you an idea on what lives separately, and bringing them all together in SoterAI is how we're going to create these insights today. Once you do upload them in, you will see that they say enabled. This means that they are part of the knowledge base, so SoterAI can reference it. The little tick on the right-hand side here is what I have done to process this into risk intelligence. So if you remember back to probably last year now, I did a webinar on how to set up your risk intelligence. This is that exact same process. You add in those documents, you click that button to process it, and away you go. So once that is all completed, you will see that you've got actions or a dashboard populated in your risk intelligence. This is the first step. The second step is the demonstration. So without further ado, I will go into my workflow example, and bear with me while I scroll right to the very top because I have this pre-populated all ready for you to go. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to do what most of us dread, and that is pull together a full EHS performance story. This includes incidents, hygiene, risk, and OSHA compliance live in one workflow. But here's the twist. I'm not going to be opening an Excel spreadsheet myself. I'm letting the AI do that. I'm not even going to touch a pivot table. That is all the AI's job. So if you've ever spent time, days pulling data from 3 different plants, from 5 different systems and 16 different spreadsheets, just to get ready for a board meeting, this webinar is for you. So let's use this demo manufacturing company as our example. We've got here the first prompt. Now, This is to give you an idea on the type of prompt that you can use in the system to pull all of this data together. In this example, I've asked it to use the incident data for manufacturing. So I'm telling it to reference the data that I have uploaded in the knowledge base to give me a big picture summary of our safety performance from 2024 through 2025. So I've asked it to give me key trends, hotspots, the plant and area, and any notable improvement or deterioration over time. I will start off by saying I did this in what we call the general chat. So if you have general chat on your workspace homepage, use that one to do this example. We also do have our analyze incident trends workflow down here, which is specifically designed to analyze data from spreadsheets. But I wanted to use general chat to show you the true power of our agent in here and our subagentic AI. So going back to that workflow, I have to scroll right to the top again. Bear with me. From here, once I've put that prompt in, as you can see, it's got 16 previous responses. That is telling us that it's done a great amount of work to get to me to this step. So it's going to give you the snapshot in the chat, as you all know. This is just a brief snapshot, but then as you know, in the documents section, it's actually going to have the report that it's generated for this. So I'm going to open up the first report. As you can see, there's many in there. We've got a lot to get through. So this is the report that I got from that initial prompt. So this is just the key performance indicators, what types of trends it's seeing. As you can see from here, we've got a lot of information. There's some overall safety performance, some information on what 2024 incidents were, 2025, the total, the LTI, recordables, near misses. All of this data is, of course, located in my spreadsheets that I uploaded to the data sources section. From there, it's also creating me some charts where I can see visually what the performance is over year, plant by plant. Going down further, I want to kind of point out that plant A is our biggest issue. And from this chart as well, 2024 was a really big year for incidents. As you can see, all the plants in 2025, they went down, but 2024 is really the highlight that I want to point out in this spreadsheet. Scrolling down as well, we can see that there's near misses, 43%. This is a great pie chart. Feel free to ask the AI to create any type of chart that you want. I really do love this because you don't even have to play around in Excel, even though I used to love doing that. But being able to just get AI to create this entire report, and as you can see, it did it in one prompt and got me all of this great information. Now, scrolling down further, there's another notable cluster. So 2024, there was a big issue with injuries. Plant B is called out. Plant C has the better improvement. So Plant C is our good child, but I'd say Plant A is a really our problem child. So what I did in my next prompt, I'll scroll over and this is a bit of a story. So going back to the top, sorry, it goes down to the bottom for me to make it easy, but the next prompt after that, these are just some administration things. Up here, I asked it to create a report to put in the charts. Now I've asked it to create a mini report, or let's call it an appendix for this report that dives deeper into the 2024 incidents, and notably Q3 was called out as the highest number in that report. So from there, it's created me another document. As you can see down here, I have 8. I'm going along the line now. So it's giving me some information specifically to Q3 2024. So scrolling through this, we can see that there's some more deeper data. Let's scroll right down where it actually calls out some departments and the notable incident types. So these types of trends. So getting a little bit more deeper into the data is where the AI can really help you. And, looking at a spreadsheet, creating these kind of pivot tables and filters, they are good, but having the AI do that heavy lifting for you to present it in a report like this is really where it gets valuable to your time. So scrolling down, there's also a call out here, night shift. Night shift is not our friend at the moment when it comes to injuries. They're having a lot of incidents, and that is accounting for 55.6% of the injuries. So what I did next, after I saw that, and this is again just a story, You can follow it how you want. It actually gave me the suggestion to dive deeper into night shift. So let me go back to the top. As you know, I like to pre-populate these workflows ready to present. Um, Going down, we've got the next prompt. Can you create another appendix report which companies can, which compares the incident performance for night shift versus day shift? Because I noticed that there was a difference there. But one thing I do want to call out as well is the AI's ability to anticipate what the issue is. So as you can see, there's three different prompts that it gives you. It gives you this for any type of work that you do in SoterAI. And what it has called out, which I think is really cool, is that there's a focused night shift safety plan. So it's actually read your document that it created for you, and it's gone, okay, clearly night shift is a bit of an issue here. So it's anticipating that you're going to want to dive deeper or create an action plan for that night shift. So letting the AI also kind of guide you on your next steps. These three prompts, they are always targeted at what it thinks that you should do next. So naturally, I asked it to create me a report, another mini report or an appendix comparing the night shift versus day shift. So it's gone and done that. I'm going to open that just to show you here. So this is going to pick out all of the differences between night and day shift. It's got some nice graphs. We've got some data labels here. That's another thing as well. If the graph doesn't have certain elements that you want in it, you can ask it to add in those elements. So in this case, I could ask it to change the coloring. I could ask it to change the data labels, anything. The world is your oyster when it comes to SoterAI. Now, moving on, we've got a little bit more data that I want to get through. So I don't want to spend too much time on the night shift, but as you know, it was a big issue, and that appendix is going to be a really good addition to my report. Next question I asked it, switching gears now. So I'm going into more hygiene. So the hygiene monitoring. So this was my next prompt here. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So from the hygiene monitoring data source, I asked it to give me a report overview of the occupational hygiene performance at manufacturing. So that prompt there, another example of something that you can use to get some insight out of SoterAI. I'm going to scroll down. As you can see, it's given me a lot of information in the chat, but it's also given me that document. So going into that report now, I just want to show you the level of detail that SoterAI can give you from what I would say is not an in-depth prompt. It's actually a pretty basic prompt, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a paragraph. It doesn't have to be special. It can be anything that you think. But look at the detail in this report. So what it's given me is executive summary, the type of exposure, the permissive, the sections, monitoring program overview. Going down, it's got those charts again. So permissible exposure level, sorry. Going down further, it's got some more information around what types of contaminants, what the plants are that are at the most risk. Going to keep scrolling through here just to give you an idea on how much information it's given me. And I'll be honest, the data spreadsheet that I uploaded, it was very raw. And look at all of this great information. One thing I want to call out with SoterAI is that it understands occupational safety, hygiene, industrial occupations. It really does understand all of that kind of industries, and it can really give you so much value when it's working with you to do these charts and these reports. So it's not just reading and presenting data, it's actually giving you an understanding of what it sees, and it dives really deep. So I'll keep going through now. The next question I asked it, because in that report it called out that there was a noise issue. So next prompt is this one. Can you create an appendix report that oh no, sorry, bear with me. There's a lot of prompts in here. Can you zoom in on the noise exposure results? The plant A metal fabrication areas, show me how often we exceeded limits in 2024 versus 2025 and which controls appear to be making a difference. So this is a little bit more of a, it's asking me what is the problem. I'm asking it what the problem is. Give me a comparison 2024 to versus 2025. But I'm also asking it, is it making a difference? Because what it is going to then go and do is, okay, what is the incident data? What's the injury data? Is there any data actually suggesting that there are some issues with noise-induced hearing loss? Are we, and it's going to actually combine them and find some insights. So if I open up that document now, it's going to give me some information based on noise. So scrolling down, again, we've got some great charts, some really deep information. All of this, the AI did. I did not prompt it to do anything other than put charts in. So as you can see, it's really, really powerful. And then I want to get to the final bit, but first, next step. And I know I'm really scrolling through here. We are going to ask questions at the end. My next prompt is around compliance. So going again into another gear, we've done incidents, we've done hygiene. Now we're going to look at compliance data. So I added a spreadsheet in at the start, as you know, called with all of our OSHA findings. We've been audited at manufacturing quite a few times. And I've put that data in and I've asked SoterAI in this prompt to use the compliance audit data and create me a report that gives me a compliance status summary against OSHA requirements for all my plans. So I wanted to highlight all the main areas of non-compliance and which standards they relate to. So opening up that report here, we can see that it's put in that data in the spreadsheet. It's created this report for me. It's gone in and it's put in the overall compliance snapshot. It's got some great tables again. So these profiles, compliance status by OSHA standards. The standards are actually called out there as well. You can even ask it to put links in so that you can go directly to that website where it shows those requirements. Scrolling through again, I love how much detail SoterAI can give you. So all of this is created again from just that prompt that I showed you at the start. This prompt here. And then what I want to call out in this is there are going to be some findings. So in this, it's calling out some open findings, some critical priority. And obviously, this is a lot of information. So what I've asked it to do next is actually go in and create an appendix that identifies all of the OSHA related findings that are overdue. And I asked them to put in the quantity, the compliance of due dates, as well as what priority they are. So if I open up my next report, this shows me everything that's overdue now, things that I need to focus on. So think about, you've got all of this information for OSHA audit findings, and, not all of them are going to be high and critical. But if we look at this gives us a really good snapshot. Okay, all of these findings, how overdue they are. This chart is very beautiful, if I might add myself. The compliance exposure by plant, so plant B in this case is actually our problem child. Going down here, it's also got per OSHA standard. And then here is where I think it is the most beneficial. It's actually putting out all of the different issues, what the total findings are, the highest priority, whether it's high, critical, medium, low. That's really going to help you prioritize your time on actually going for the highest ticket items. So that report, as you can see, I'm scrolling right through. There is so much information here. Really, really helpful to help um, get your insights all in a page. Now I'm going to get to the last bit because I know we're running short on time. So my last prompt, this is the big wow moment. So pulling all of that together. I know there's board reports that are out there that are so in depth, so detailed, and I'm guessing they probably took weeks upon weeks to create. Having SoterAI cuts that down, and I did this all in about, I would say, all up 2 hours. And when you think about how much data that it's actually analyzing and presenting, that amount of time saved, I think if I was to do this manually, I would be spending at least 2 weeks full time doing this. So my last prompt, the big moment, can you generate a board ready executive summary of all of this EHS performance at manufacturing? Combine incidents, hygiene monitoring, risk profile, and OSHA compliance. And I gave it a few examples. I said, keep it visual, concise with key trends. So from here, it's giving me a snapshot. And this is the report, which you probably already saw populate at the start of the meeting because it populates the last report that it sees. But this report here is completely done by AI. I have not touched it. I have not prompted it after this. As you can see, that prompt was my final prompt. And just look at the sheer amount of detail and amazingness of this report. I know that's not a word, but scrolling through, you can see here that there is a lot of information, really valuable and really beautiful. Exactly what you'd want to be reporting to your board. So, as you can see, doing all of this in SoterAI, it's going to save you, I wouldn't even say minutes, hours, I would say weeks being able to do this kind of level of depth and detailed report in SoterAI. So with that being said, I'll keep scrolling through, but I'd like to open it up to questions now. We've come to the end of our webinar. That is exactly what I want to show you. So if you do have a question, we do have a Q&A. Please feel free to jump in there and ask away. We'll give it 5 minutes if you do want to ask a question. Otherwise, I will bid you a good day. And of course, if anyone wants to reach out to me after this webinar and have a one-on-one session to go over this example or how you could actually build this yourself, I'd be more than happy to jump on a call. So you're more than welcome to reach out an email if you've got my email. Still no questions. We'll give it another couple more minutes. And, you don't have to ask a question. You could even do a share if you want to, if you're still online. I can see we've got a few people still online. So if you want to share something that we can put in this webinar, then you're more than welcome as well. All right. Well, no questions have come through. So if you do want to send them through in an email, if you have been typing and you haven't got it off yet, please feel free to email me with your questions or reach out if you need any support on how to use our system. But it's been a pleasure as always, and I really hope you all have a great day. I'm going to end the webinar here. Thanks, guys.